चलिए, तो आज अपन अपनी क्लास स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं। ठीक है, तो जो हमने लास्ट लेक्चर में जो पढ़ा था, हमने स्लिप पावर रिकवरी सिस्टम के बारे में हमने देखा था कि किस तरीके से स्टैटिक क्रैमर डिवाइस यूज की जाती है फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ static rotor resistance control and for slip power recovery system. Okay. Today we will start with the part 2 of slip power recovery system, in which we will discuss about the static service device, which was the second device used for slip power recovery. Okay. As we know that the slip power recovery is mean to recover the slip power which is wasted in resistance when a slip ring induction motor start with the resistance. So what we do, we will discover this wasted power and recover it and convert this back to source by using the conversion method. It can be in AC, it can be the supply can be converted to AC and then feed back to the main supply system, or otherwise it can be converted to DC and then it will be supplied to a DC motor which will further connected with the induction motor. So it will add the torque to the main torque which is derived by or developed by induction motor. Okay, so we will start today with the slip power recovery system part 2. Okay, in this system we will discuss about static Kramer system. Since in the last class I left the lecture at conventional Kramer system, right? So today we will discuss about the static Kramer system first, and then we will go to the static service system. So in the static Kramer system, what will happen in rotor resistance control method? The slip power is wasted in the rotor circuit. So what we do, we instead of wasting the slip power in the rotor circuit, we converted it to 50 hertz AC supply and then feedback into the main supply line. The slip power can flow in one direction. This point has to be noted very carefully. The slip power can flow only in one direction. So the power will flow from rotor to feedback side or rotor to again to the supply system. Okay, the static Kramer drive offers speed control only for subsynchronous speed. इसको बहुत ही केयरफुली समझिएगा। जो आपकी स्पीड कंट्रोल है वो सिर्फ और सिर्फ सब सिंक्रोनस स्पीड पे ही वर्क करती है। सब सिंक्रोनस स्पीड इज व्हाट? इट इज द स्पीड बिलो सिंक्रोनस स्पीड। और अगर सुपर सिंक्रोनस स्पीड कहा जाता है देन इट मींस दैट द स्पीड ऑफ मोटर is above the synchronous speed. So we are talking about subsynchronous speed. Hence, our system will offer the speed control only below the synchronous speed, not above the synchronous speed. Okay. So this is the characteristics of static Kramer system. You can say that. Okay. Now start with the working principle. In the working principle, किस तरीके से होता है इसको देखते हैं हम लोग. The slip power is taken from the rotor and it is rectified. First, it is rectified to the DC voltage, right? And to convert this supply into the DC voltage, what we do, we will use a rectifier, which is a three-phase bridge rectifier in our case. It will provide us a three-phase DC voltage, right? And this DC voltage is supplied to the inductor LD, which further smoothen the ripples in this rectifier voltage VD. This power is now the power is converted into the DC form. Now this DC power is converted into again AC power by using a line commutated inverter. So what we are doing here, at one side we are converting the rotor power which is AC in the nature first into DC supply, and then this DC supply is further converted. Uh, this DC supply is further converted to AC supply, right? And this AC supply is feedback to the main supply system. Okay, so this is how it works. The one thing that is to be taken care here, that the rectifier and inverter are both are line commutated. We are using the line commutation technique for both the rectifier and for inverter. We are not using force commutation here. We are using the line commutation, and for that what we are doing, we are using the alternating EMF which was appearing at the slip ring and the supply bus bar respectively, right? So here is the system. So this is the static Kramer system. This system is also called constant torque drive. You can note this. This drive is also called constant torque drive. The slip power can flow in one direction, which is earlier we have discussed earlier. So now what are the advantages and what are the applications? So the static Kramer drive has been very popular in large power pump and fan type drives. You can say the rating of these drives are up to 1 megawatt. Okay, so if the drive has high power drives are there, then this method is preferably used. Okay, now this method of speed control is very economical because the rectifier and the inverter only have to carry the speed power of the rotor. What does it mean? इसका क्या मतलब है? Rectifier and inverter have only carry speed power. What is speed power? We know that the power which is wasted in the rotor side, and that is into the external resistance connected for the starting purpose of the motor. So the amount which is wasted in the rotor resistance was very less in comparison to the total input supply power. Okay, so in our case, the rectifier inverter are connected at the rotor side, so the power rating of the rectifier inverter is decided on the basis of slip power, which is very less in comparison to input supply voltage, input supply power. So the rating of rectifier inverter is reduced, hence the cost of rectifier inverter is also reduced. This is the benefit of static Kramer system. This is the diagram of static Kramer system. You can see here, this is our stator and this is the rotor. And rotor is connected with what? This is the three-phase bridge rectifier is connected over here. So our basically the rotor output is connected to this rectifier, three-phase bridge rectifier. And this three-phase bridge rectifier will obtain a DC voltage VD, which is connected across the inductor LD. This inductor LD further smoothen the ripples which is developed after the DC conversion. Okay, and this current ID, output current ID, will pass through the inverter, and this is again a three-phase controlled inverter, or you can use a three-phase controlled converter here, which is working in inverter as well. There is no need to use a practical inverter here. You can use a three-phase controlled converter over here, and you can operate it in the inversion mode. So our DC voltage VD now converted to the VD2. You can say this VD1 and you can say this it is VD2. So this VDC or VD2 voltage is further obtained to the inverter side, and this inverter will what it will do? It will convert this voltage into the AC voltage. This AC voltage V2 is then further. This is the T. T is stands for the transformer. Here we connect a transformer to obtain this side of voltage to the main supply side. Okay, so this voltage V2 is converted to the V1 by the method of transformation by using the transformer. Okay, here the one thing also to be noted here. Here the turn ratio is what? It is N2 to N1 dash, and here we use N2 to N1 again. So this is to stator to the rotor side and then rotor to the stator side. Okay, and this is the gate triggering processor which is used for controlling of this rectifiers. Okay, so this is our static Kramer system. Now we will see the closed loop control of Kramer system. In this system, what we are doing, we are using a feedback loop for the controlling of this Kramer system automatically. And for that, what we need, we need a tacho generator, which is basically connected to the rotor side, and it is sensing the speed continuously at the rotor end, or you can say it is continuously measuring the speed of rotor. Now this tacho generator, what will it will do? It will generate a voltage. It is a tacho generator. It is not a tachometer. So be careful about that. Tachometer will obtain you with the speed, but the tacho generator will obtain a voltage signal developed, and it is calibrated in comparison to the rotor speed. So tacho generator will what it will do? It will generate a potential, right? And then here is the reference speed. Reference speed is nothing but what we do to obtain this reference speed. We calibrate this reference speed in terms of voltage by using a voltage regulator. This is a voltage regulator which will produce a voltage which is further calibrated in terms of reference speed. So this reference speed, or you can say this reference voltage, and here the tacho generator will also obtain a voltage which is calibrated in terms of actual rotor speed. Both the voltage will obtain to the summing point. This summing point is what will it will do? It will produce an error. This error is further amplified by using the speed amplifier. This speed amplifier amplified this voltage error signal, and it will set a current accordingly to change the speed. After this error, it will set the current to the desired level. Now this current is further obtained to the summing point, and this summing point also get the value of actual current, which is feedback through the this side. This side we will take a feedback of current, and we obtain this actual current to the summing point. Now the set current, desired current, and the set current both are compared, and by comparing this, we will produce an error signal, which error signal is further amplified through the current amplifier. Now this current amplifier, what will it do? It further obtain the control signal to firing circuit. Now this firing circuit will control the line commutated inverter. It will control the IGBTs, SCR, or whatever device you use. It will control their firing, and after controlling the firing, we will control the inverter operation. So by controlling the inverter voltage or inverter output voltage, we can control the flow of power. This is the power which is feedback to the main supply system, and this is the power taken from the main supply system. So this power is taken from the supply and obtained to the rotor. And what we are doing here, we are converting this rotor side power into the DC form, and then we will convert into the AC form. And this AC power is again feedback to the main supply system. But to controlling this power, how this power is controlled? This power is controlled through the output voltage of this inverter. And to control this inverter voltage, what we are doing here, we are using a firing circuit, and this firing circuit is controlled through the current amplifier as well as the speed amplifier. So we are taking two inputs are here. One is the speed control. Okay, you can say that it is a inner speed control and outer current loop control. Okay, which we have read in the previous lectures. Okay, so this is how a closed loop control of Cramer system works. So in exam, if they ask you to describe about the Cramer system, then you can discuss two things. One is the conventional Cramer system, and then you can describe about the static Cramer system, and then also you can obtain this diagram and its working principle of the closed loop mode control of Cramer system. So this is how you will discuss Cramer system. Now, the closed loop control of Cramer system. This is the working principle which I have already discussed in the previous slide. So we can skip this slide. Now the service type. What is service type, and what is the difference between service and the Cramer? Service system is similar to the Cramer system, but there is only a difference between them. The Cramer system, the feedback is mechanical. How it is mechanical? In the Cramer system, we are using a DC motor, and that DC motor is directly coupled to the rotor of induction motor. But in this case, this is a conventional service system. You can see that there is no direct interlink between the shafts. The DC motor is separately connected to the induction generator. So you can say that in the service motor, the output is the feedback output is in the form of electrical, and in the case of Cramer system, the feedback is in mechanical form. So this is the basic difference between Cramer and service. The question may be asked about all this thing, that what is the difference between service and Cramer system. So I hope you will understand this thing, the difference, this slight difference between service and Cramer. Now we will discuss about the conventional service system. So this is the diagram which is showing you the conventional service system. In conventional service drive is basically which is I have already discussed in the earlier slides, that there are two things of recovering the slip power. One is to convert it into the electrical signal and then feed it to the main supply system, and the second one is convert this slip power to in the form of DC, and then you will obtain this DC power to a DC motor, which will further support your activity. In conventional service system, what we are doing here, we are converting first in the DC power, and then this after the rotary converter, the DC power is feedback to the DC armature of a DC motor, and this DC motor is further coupled to an induction generator. The induction generator will produce a AC supply voltage, and this AC supply voltage is further feedback to the main supply system. So here what we are doing, we are feedbacking the electrical signal which is recovered from the wasted slip power and feedback to the main supply system. But in the case of Kramer, what we are doing, we are taking the slip power, we are recovering the slip power, but we are using the slip power in the operation of DC motor, which will further support the torque and speed control of that induction motor. Okay, so this is the basic difference between service and Kramer, and this is the conventional service drive or conventional service system. So in the exam, you can classify. First, you will classify the service drive in two systems: the conventional one and the static one. Now, after discussing about the conventional service drive, you will get back to the static service drive or static service system. In static service system, what is happening here? You have to very careful in the case of service system because it is very critical system. Here there is a very big problem which is the power factor. To correct the power factor, we have discussed about some remedies method which is used in service drive. So we will discuss in the further slide. For now, we will start discussing about the static services. It provides the speed control of a wound rotor motor, which is slip ring induction motor, but obviously below the synchronous speed. This drive also provides the speed control below the synchronous speed, or you can say the subsynchronous speed. So this is the here we can see that both the drive are obtaining the speed control or the speed operation below the synchronous speed. No drive is obtaining the speed above the synchronous speed. But is it possible to do this? Yes. In my case, I can say that you can also control the speed above the synchronous speed, but for that you have to use a cyclo converter with the service drive, and that particular cyclo converter will operate in different modes. The mode 1, mode 2, and mode 3 and mode 4. There are total 4 modes, and in that 4 modes, the cyclo converter will operate the service drive such that the motor will obtain in a mode a speed above the synchronous speed. So you can say that to obtain a super synchronous speed, you have to run service drive with the cyclo converter in a mode. Okay, different modes. So we will not discuss this point here because this is not in your case in syllabus. So we will discuss about only the service drive which is providing the sub-synchronous speed operation. So we will start this. A portion of rotor AC power is further converted into the DC as in the case of Kramer, and then this control rectifier working as an inverter convert it back to the AC and feedback to the AC source, which is again in the case of Kramer. So both the drives are looking very similarly in the operating fashion, but there is a certain difference which is discussed in the previous slide. Okay, the power feedback can be controlled by controlling inverter counter EMF VD2, which I have already told you in the previous slide. The power can be controlled by using the inverter counter EMF VD2, which in turn further control the inverter firing angle, and that will change the power. Okay, so to analyze this system, we will take the two expression here. The first one is VD1, which is 3 root 6 upon 5 SV by N, and then VD2, which is 3 root 6 upon 5 V upon N cos alpha. Now, both the expression are looking very similar, right? This is because the case of controlled converter we are using here. One is operating in the inverter mode, and the second one is inverting in the rectified mode. That is why the expression is looking quite similar. But there is a certain difference between both. There we are using the term N, here we are using the term N. What is this N and M? N is what? It is the stator to rotor turn ratio. And what is M? M is the inverter side to the main supply side turn ratio. We are using an external transformer here at the end of inverter. So this M is representing the turn ratio of that particular side. And N is what? It is the turn ratio of rotor stator to the rotor side. So both the turn ratio are different here in our case. Now the V, so here the term S is used. S is what? It is for used for slip. As we know that in the case of induction motor, when a voltage is transformed from one side to another side, in our case we are transferring the voltage from stator side to rotor side. When this will transform to the rotor side, a multiplying term of S or the slip will multiply with the output voltage or the induced voltage. So here we are using the term S. But at the inverting end, we are not using this term slip because this is the separate system or this is operating very separately fashion. Okay? So we are using this expression. Now, what is the alpha? Alpha is the inverter firing angle. Alpha is what? It is the inverter firing angle. This is in the rectifier mode, so we doesn't use this expression cos alpha, but this is inverter mode, so we are using the term cos alpha. I hope it will you will get the idea about this expression. Okay. Now we are going to the next slide. This is our static service system. This is the basic diagram of static service system. You can see here is an induction motor, and this is the external resistance which is short circuited or it is connected in the star fashion. This is the there is a switch S1 and there is a switch S2. So how the drive works? First, what we do, we will close this switch S1. So it will provide external resistance for the starting of slip ring induction motor. So our slip ring induction motor will start with these resistance. At that time, the switch S2 is in the open mode. Okay, only the switch S1 is closed. When the motor started and achieve its rated speed, then what we will do? We will close the S2 switch first, and then we will open the switch S1 accessory S1 afterwards. Okay, so what we do here, we are disclosing this switch and connecting this switch S2. So by connecting this switch S2, this circuit of the rectifier and the inverter is connected to the rotor side. So this is how the motor first start, and then we will connect this rotor side to the rectifier side. So this rotor power is feedback to the this rectifier. This rectifier further converted into a DC voltage, which is the VD1 in our case, and this VD1 is applied across this inductor LD, which further smoother the ripples in the supply, and then this voltage is applied across the inverter. This is again a controlled converter. You can see this. This is a SCR. Okay, so it is a controlled converter. It is not just an inverter. It is basically a control converter which is working in the inversion loop. So I can see there is a voltage VD2. This VD2 voltage is what? This is the voltage offered by this inverter. And VD1 is what? This is the voltage obtained, or this is the DC voltage obtained after the conversion or the rectification of the supply. Okay, so this is VD1 and this is VD2 in our case. And after this VD2, this voltage is applied across this transformer. Here you can see the turn ratio M raised to the 1, M ratio 1. So this is the turn ratio of inverter side to the main supply side. Okay, so this is the basic difference between static service drive and static primer drive. Okay, now how it works? First, we will see the some analytical things. By neglecting the drop across inductor, what are we are doing here? We are neglecting the drop across the inductor. So this is my inductor. Now, if you neglect this inductor voltage, hence we can assume that the voltage across this inductor is nearly zero. Okay. So if this voltage is zero, and this is VD1 plus 2 minus, and this is VD2 plus 2 minus. Now, if you applied the KVL in this loop, you will get the value equal to VD1 plus VD2 equal to 0. This is how it comes. It comes with the use of KVL inside this loop. So I hope you will get the value VD1 plus VD2, which is equals to 0. Now what we are doing, we are substituting the equation 6.93 and 6.94, which is this. Okay, so these two equations are put inside this expression VD1 plus VD2 equal to 0, and after this solving that equations, we will get the value of S is equals to minus n upon m cos alpha. How it comes? You can see that VD1 is what, 3 root 6 upon 5, and VD2 is what, 3 root 6 upon 5. Both the equations are similar, so you can neglect both the expression same time. Now SV upon m, and then plus Vm upon m cos alpha. Now, what we are doing, we are keeping the S here. V and V is also cancelled, so we are keeping this S here and transfer this m to the right hand side. Okay, so wait a minute. So by cancelling this voltage expression V and 3 root 6 upon 5 and 3 root 6 upon 5, the only expression will left as s plus v upon m, s upon n plus v upon m cos alpha equal to 0. What we will do, we will transfer this v upon m cos alpha to the right hand side. So this become minus, since v is cancelled, so the expression will become in the right hand side. Let me draw this. The expression will act like this: minus v. Oh, sorry. Wait a minute. Minus 1 upon, so left it. I can tell you what is happening here. Minus 1 upon m cos alpha, and here the value is s upon n. So n is transferred to the right hand side. The expression will become as s is equals to minus n upon m cos alpha. Okay, it will now this n upon m is termed as a. Here is it is expressed as small a, and this is alpha. Both are not the same. This is a and this is alpha. So both are the different things. Okay, and the a is what? It is the ratio of n upon n. So this is the expression of slip. Slip is equals to what? Minus a cos alpha. So the slip is controlled by two things. First one is n upon n, which is the turn ratio of rotor stator to rotor side, and the second one is from inverter to supply side. And this alpha is what? This is the inverter firing angle. So the maximum value of this alpha is restricted to 165 degree for the safe commutation of inverter thyristors. So we can take the value of alpha up to the 165 maximum. Okay. Now the slip can be controlled from 0 to 0.966a. How it comes? How this expression is become possible? This is become possible by putting the value of 165 degree here. When you put the 165 degree here, you will get the value of 0.966a. So we can say that we can take or we can choose the value of a as 0 to 0.966a. Maximum we can take the value of 0.966, and minimum we can take the value of 0. So this is how you can control the slip from 0 to maximum. Okay, this is the minimum slip and this is the maximum slip value, which is 0.966a. Here a will what? This is n upon m. So by choosing wisely the value of m and n, you can control the slip accordingly. Okay, so this, I hope this thing will be clear in your mind how we will control the slip. And by controlling the slip, what we are doing here, we are controlling the speed directly. Okay, now one more thing here, at the lowest speed required. The lowest speed means what? The slip was maximum. At the lowest speed, the slip is maximum. So the voltage VD1 will have the maximum potential as VD1 is equals to, sorry, VD1 is equals to V multiplied by S max divided by N. Here N is what? This is the turn ratio. It will come along with this expression because this is the turn ratio of rotor side. Okay. Now the next thing, when the S max is the value of slip at the lowest speed, if alpha is restricted to 165 degree, we are taking the value of alpha as 165 degree, and M is chosen such that the inverter voltage has the value VD1 M. मैं चाह रहा हूँ कि यहाँ VD1 जो है उसका मैक्सिमम पोटेंशियल मुझे मिले, उसके लिए मैं M को किस तरीके से चूज करूँ वो मुझे यहाँ पे देखना है. उसके लिए मैंने क्या किया है, मैंने अल्फा की वैल्यू क्या पुट की है, 165 डिग्री. Okay, there is no problem here. Okay, so the expression will like this: the V upon M cos alpha. This is the expression of what? This is the expression of VD2. We see the earlier previous slides as this is what? This is the Vm upon cos alpha, and this is same. So these are the cancel in this case. So the V upon M cos 165, and the second expression is what? V s max upon M. Okay. Now solving this equation, we will get the value of M as M is equals to minus N cos 165 upon S max, which will give you the value 0 minus 0.966 N upon S max. So here you can see this thing. Such a choice of M ensure inverter operation at the highest firing angle. First thing is that ऐसा करने से मुझे क्या फायदा हो रहा है या क्या बेनिफिट हो रहा है. एक तो मेरा बेनिफिट ये है कि मैं हाईएस्ट फायरिंग एंगल के ऊपर इन्वर्टर को ऑपरेट करवा सकता हूँ बाय चूजिंग केयरफुली द वैल्यू ऑफ एम। और जब मैं हाईएस्ट फायरिंग एंगल पे होऊंगा तो उस टाइम में यानी जब मैं 165 डिग्री के ऊपर रन कर रहा हूँ उस टाइम में मोटर की स्पीड क्या होगी, लोएस्ट स्पीड होगी। अब सिंस जब मोटर की स्पीड लोएस्ट होगी तो इट विल ऑब्टेन द हाईएस्ट पावर फैक्टर, ठीक है, एंड द लोएस्ट रिएक्टिव पावर एट द लोएस्ट स्पीड। सो अगर मुझे लो स्पीड पे मोटर को रन करवाना है तो उस केस में मुझे क्या मिल रहा है, हाई पावर फैक्टर ऑपरेशन मिल रहा है, और उसके लिए मुझे क्या करना पड़ेगा, इस m की जो वैल्यू है वो केयरफुली इस एक्सप्रेशन के थ्रू चूज करनी पड़ेगी। यहाँ पे 0.966 है, तो बाय चेंजिंग द वैल्यू ऑफ s max we can change the value of m, or by selecting the value as s max we can change the value of m, ठीक है। तो इस तरीके से दोनों की वैल्यू आप चेंज करवा के इंटरचेंज करवा के सुटेबल ऑपरेशन करवा सकते हो एट हाईएस्ट पावर फैक्टर। बेसिकली होता क्या है कि लो पावर स्पीड पे जब आप रन करते हो तो आपका पावर फैक्टर बहुत ही लो होता है। सर्विस ड्राइव का एक बाय डिफॉल्ट आपको एडवांटेज यहाँ पे मिल रहा है कि ये आपको आपको पावर फैक्टर जो है वो हाईएस्ट दे रहा है बाय यूजिंग दिस ऑपरेशन, और वी आर रनिंग द फायरिंग एंगल एट 165, ओके। तो इसकी वजह से हमारे को फायदा क्या हो रहा है, एक तो ये पावर फैक्टर बढ़ा रहा है, दूसरा रिएक्टिव पावर जो चाहिए थी हमें लो स्पीड के ऊपर वो भी ये रिड्यूस कर रहा है। This is the equivalent diagram of which is referred to the rotor side. This is what? This is the equivalent circuit of the motor which is referred to the rotor side. तो हमने क्या किया है यहाँ पे, जो आपका स्टेटर का जो वोल्टेज था, दिस इज द स्टेटर वोल्टेज, तो V अपॉन N आएगा टर्न रेशियो की वजह से, और S की टर्म मल्टीप्लाइड हो जाएगी क्योंकि ये रोटर साइड हमने रोटर ट्रांसफर किया है। दिस इज द रोटर वोल्टेज V है, ओके, एंड दिस इज S मल्टीप्लाइड बाय RS डैश, ये होगा ऑब्वियस सी बात है, RS डैश क्या होगा, तो RS डिवाइड बाय N होगा which is the turn due to the turn ratio, और यहाँ पे क्या होगा S axis dash which is again S divided by N multiplied by S। ये दोनों वैल्यू किसकी, स्टेटर की, ये दोनों किस तरफ ट्रांसफर कर रहे हैं, रोटर साइड में, और रोटर साइड का जो रेजिस्टेंस था XR, रिएक्टेंस था XR, वो ऑटोमेटिकली S से मल्टीप्लाइड होगा क्योंकि वो फ्रीक्वेंसी कंट्रोल है, और जब भी रोटर साइड में हम आते हैं तो कोई भी चीज चाहे वो फ्रीक्वेंसी हो, चाहे वोल्टेज हो, वो पावर हो, वो तीनों ही टर्म स्लिप की वजह से चेंज होती है, इसलिए रोटर एंड पे आने पर रिएक्टेंस की वैल्यू भी FXR हो जाएगी, ठीक है। तो इस तरीके से ये आएगा, ये क्या RR है, ठीक है, जो हमारा रोटर का बेसिक रेजिस्टेंस है। तो जब इसका इक्विवेलेंट लिखें तो कुछ इस तरीके से आएगा, ये हमारा डीसी वोल्टेज है जो कि रेक्टिफायर के बाद आ रहा था प्लस माइनस VD1, एंड दिस इज इन्वर्टर वोल्टेज व्हिच इज माइनस प्लस VD2, और बीच में क्या आ रहा है, ये टर्म आ रही है SRS डैश प्लस RR प्लस RD। ये जो RD है ये क्या है, ये डीसी लिंक का जो इंडक्टर हमने यूज किया था ना बीच में, उस इंडक्टर का ये रेजिस्टेंस है RT, ठीक है। ये जो टोटल एक्सप्रेशन है वो कुछ इस तरीके से बन जाएगा 2 मल्टीप्लाइड बाय S डैश प्लस RR प्लस RT, ठीक है। नाउ अब बात करते हैं करंट की, इसमें से जो करंट पास हो रही थी इंडक्टर के बीच में से वो करंट की वैल्यू क्या है, तो करंट की वैल्यू क्या होगी, टोटल वोल्टेज VD1 माइनस VD2 डिवाइड बाय टोटल रेजिस्टेंस, जो कि हम बेसिक सर्किट थ्योरी में कर रहे थे, लेकिन सिंस द साइन इज नेगेटिव हियर सो द एक्सप्रेशन विल बी एक्ट लाइक VD1 प्लस VD2, ये प्लस में हो जाएगा, डिवाइड बाय द टोटल रेजिस्टेंस ऑफ द सर्किट। फिर हमने यहाँ पे VD1 एंड VD2 की वैल्यू हमें पता थी, एक्सप्रेशन में पता थे, तो 3√6 बाय 5 मल्टीप्लाइड बाय V S by N प्लस 3√6 अपॉन 5 V by N मल्टीप्लाइड बाय cos अल्फा। हमने क्या किया, ये वाला एक्सप्रेशन कॉमन ले लिया, तो ये अंदर बचेगा, डिवाइड में ये बचेगा। ना अगर मैं रोटर कॉपर लॉस को नेग्लेक्ट करता हूँ, हमें पता है कि जो टोटल पावर होती है एयर गैप पावर which is PG और PAG, it is multiplied by S when it comes to the rotor side। ये हमने पहले डिस्कस किया था पहले वाले एक्सप्रेशन में, और हमने यहाँ पे क्या कहा कि कॉपर लॉस नेग्लेक्ट है, यानी जो आप एयर गैप पावर है वो पूरी की पूरी किस में कन्वर्ट हो रही है, मैकेनिकल पावर में। अब जो पूरी की पूरी पावर मैकेनिकल पावर में कन्वर्ट हो रही है तो किसके बराबर होगी, तो उसका इलेक्ट्रिकल डेवलपमेंट का फॉर्मूला तो होना चाहिए, तो फॉर्मूला ये होगा कि VD2 मल्टीप्लाइड बाय ID। तो आई होप ये आपको समझ में आया होगा कि SPG क्या है, ये तो वो जो पावर है जो कि रोटर में डेवलप हुई हमारे ड्यू टू द स्लिप, ठीक है, और इस पावर को हमने क्या किया, हमने मान लिया कॉपर लॉस नेग्लेक्ट कर दिए, जिसकी वजह से हमारे को ये सिर्फ मैकेनिकल पावर कन्वर्जन मिला, जिसको हमने इस एक्सप्रेशन में लिख दिया। नाउ अगर मुझे पीजी कैलकुलेट करनी है एयर गैप पावर, तो मैं इसे एस को इसके बिलो भेज दूंगा, ठीक है, तो इस तरीके से ये रहेगा। नाउ दिस सॉरी नाउ द टॉर्क। अब ये जो टॉर्क होगा, ये टॉर्क कैसे निकालना, हमें पता है कि पावर जो एयर गैप पावर होती है वो किसके बराबर होती है, ओमेगा ms मल्टीप्लाइड बाय टी। यहाँ पे ये ओमेगा ms क्या है, दिस इज द मैक्सिमम सिंक्रोनस स्पीड मल्टीप्लाइड बाय टी। इज इक्वल टू पीजी, और पीजी का एक्सप्रेशन हमारे पास ये था VD2 मल्टीप्लाइड बाय आईडी डिवाइड बाय एस ओमेगा एस। तो अगर हमें टॉर्क को चेंज करना है तो हमें क्या करना पड़ेगा, स्लिप को चेंज करवाना और स्पीड को चेंज करवाना है, या फिर आप VD2 जो कि बहुत ही आसान है कंट्रोल करवाना, क्योंकि ये एक इन्वर्टर है और इन्वर्टर के फायरिंग एंगल को कंट्रोल करवा के हम आसानी से इसको चेंज कर सकते हैं, जिसकी वजह से हमारा टॉर्क भी चेंज होगा। साथ ही साथ अगर हमें करंट को कंट्रोल करवाना है इस आईडी को, तो भी हमारे पास एक्सप्रेशन किसका है, एम है, अल्फा है, एन है, तो अगर इनको हम कंट्रोल करवाते हैं तो हम इस करंट को भी कंट्रोल करवा सकते हैं। तो इस तरीके से हम रोटर की करंट को कंट्रोल करवा के हम उसकी पावर को, टॉर्क को और स्पीड को, तीनों को कंट्रोल करवा सकते हैं। तो इस तरीके से ये जो सर्विस ड्राइव है आपका वर्क करता है, जिसके अंदर हम टॉर्क, स्पीड और पावर तीनों को चेंज करते हैं, जिसकी वजह से हमें इस ड्राइव के अंदर पावर रिकवरी मिल रही है। और पावर को हम कंट्रोल क्यों करवा रहे हैं, ताकि हम इस पावर को बेसिकली फीडबैक करवा सके किसमें, मेन सप्लाई सिस्टम में। हम इसको कहीं वेस्ट नहीं करने वाले, इस पावर को हम बेसिकली यूटिलाइज करने वाले हैं, और उसको करने के लिए हमें कुछ नहीं करना है, इस VD2 को कंट्रोल करना है। तो एग्जाम में अगर ये आता है सिस्टम, आपको कुछ नहीं करना है, ये डायग्राम बनाना है, एक्सप्रेशन आपको सारे एक्सप्लेन करना है कि किस तरीके से आपने KVL लगाना है, किस तरीके से आपको स्लिप की वैल्यू कैलकुलेट करनी है, एंड किस तरीके से आपको एम की वैल्यू चूज करनी है, एंड देन किस तरीके से आप करंट निकालेंगे, किस तरीके से आप टॉर्क निकालेंगे। ठीक है, तो दिस इज ऑल अबाउट स्टैटिक सर्विस ड्राइव। उससे पहले हमने ये कन्वेंशनल सर्विस ड्राइव देखा था, उससे पहले हमने स्टैटिक कंट्रोल ऑफ क्रैमर सिस्टम भी देखा था। तो इस तरीके से आपका स्लिप पावर रिकवरी सिस्टम है वो पूरा हो चुका है। इसके अंदर आपको दो चीज आएगी, एक तो क्रैमर और एक सर्विस। अगर एग्जाम में स्पेसिफिक पूछता है कि सर्विस बताइए तो सर्विस बताइएगा, अगर कहता है कि पूरा ही समझाइए, बड़ा क्वेश्चन आता है बड़े मार्क्स का, तो दोनों का ही एक्सप्लेन करना है।